Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Sonic Adventure DX-ish. In the last part, we continued through Knuckles' campaign, getting actually most of the way through it, and now we're gonna go finish this campaign off. In specific, our mission at the moment is to sort of follow Gamma to somewhere to hopefully find our way to the egg carrier. But since we're in the jungle now anyway for plot, you might notice Final Egg is open in the distance, sort of, since that tower's not always there. So you can make a pretty good guess as to where our next destination actually is.
Just what I thought. Time to make a house call. Now we'll see who's so easily tricked. I can sense that the emeralds are here somewhere.
Welcome back to the egg carrier, although our next cutscene is immediately afterwards as usual.
What's going on? Ah, this thing's always changing.
So that was Eggman swapping the orientation of the egg carrier into the state where Sonic and Tails need to access Skydeck. And we need to go there too, but we can't use the main entrance because it's all the way over here, whereas we're all the way over here in Eggman's cute little summertime pool destination.
I sense the Master Emerald. It can't be far from here.
Thankfully, whenever the orientation of the egg carrier swaps, the pool itself drains, so we can enter this door to access Skydeck from the back. Knuckles' portion of Skydeck is the part that Sonic ended at, where we did that giant spin dash jump to reach a capsule a little early. Because I did that, you actually didn't get to see the main gimmick with this portion of Skydeck as Sonic. At certain points in time, the stage itself tilts. That tilting is Knuckles' mechanic. There's a switch, I think, here at the back of the Skydeck, and I think there's another one somewhere else that you can push and pull to tilt the Skydeck forward, backwards, or to the left and right. Doing so will move certain platforms along certain tracks and cause certain doors like this to drop certain items down and open up momentarily. A good number of the positions that Master Emerald shards can be in are either in these doors or beneath the platforms that move. So in the case you've destroyed every enemy or checked every angle around where a radar blinking is happening, go change the orientation of the ship and come back. You might end up finding what you need to actually finish the stage. Traversing this level can feel a little weird, though, I'm not gonna lie, because not only is the tilt weird with the camera and it might throw you off and maybe in some cases give you motion sickness, sometimes if you're going with or against the tilt as you glide, for instance, you can see right there, your momentum starts to get a little whacked out in a way that doesn't exactly feel the best. It's not a very hard stage, it's not even a very large stage. Red Mountain is far and away Knuckles' largest stage. But this one makes up for it in complexity. I know a very specific emerald that I've gotten stumped on a couple times before is directly at the middle of the stage at the very highest point. It's right on top of effectively like a little cross of iron girders holding some stuff up at the center of the stage design. The best way to get that, I believe, is to go all the way up to here by the switch, tilt the ship the way I believe I currently have it, and then glide outwards, just to get the easiest way to get up there. But you could also just climb the walls and get onto the girders at either side. If anything, though, in my experience, you'll have less problem figuring out which tilt you need to access certain emerald shards, and more so actually tilting the ship, because the control for using the lever is kinda sticky and unintuitive for when it wants to work properly, so you might have some issues with that depending on what you're trying to get done. That's why it's very good if you can get lucky and just have all of the shards be in a place you'll need to tilt the ship one direction, hopefully. And hey, if that happens, you'll be able to say you got through Knuckles' final stage pretty smoothly, because from here on, it's just cutscenes and final boss stuff. Oh my god, Knuckles, your cranium's gotta be hurting. Watch out for these barrels, man. Oh my god, he's just soldiering through them!
Good enough.
Incredible.
The last missing piece. All right. Now, restore the Master Emerald. Huh? Oh no, not again. What is the meaning of this?
I mean, at this point, we've definitely seen enough of these sequences to kind of figure out a thread of plot going on here with the Echidna tribe and what they're trying to get done. The big question is, why are we seeing them at this point? I say, knowing exactly why we see them.
Hey, what happened here?
I couldn't stop them. They came, and my father... I had no idea how bad this would turn out. I'm shocked.
Look! It's the emerald! Wait! Is this a dream? It's more like a nightmare.
You know, I was poking fun about how characters seem to kind of have understated reactions to going into that place and seeing all those sequences. Knuckles probably actually has the most genuine reactions to it, but he just sounds so tired and nonplussed about it because he's just like, not this shit again.
I finally found all of the missing emerald pieces, but I still can't figure out that creepy monster. Huh? What's that?
What was that sound effect, Knuckles? What? Well, either way, something's clearly happening at the other end of the egg carrier, so we gotta head down there and see what we can find. Although notably, you can climb up the egg carrier walls with Knuckles, which I want to say this might be one of the ways you get a specific emblem on top of the radial dish up there. But I'll save that for if I ever do that follow-up LP where I get all the emblems that we missed during this LP, which I'll probably put on the list at some point. Well, we got Sonic and Eggman on top of that green section, so gee, I wonder what we're about to see, thinking about what happens at that point in Sonic's campaign. You get 3 guesses to find out, and the first 2 don't count.
Not again! I hate you!
Hey, Sonic!
There you are, Knuckles. About time.
I will return!
Eggman, come back!
I'd better let Sonic handle it from here. He'll do okay. Now, I must return to Angel Island and the Master Emerald. No, it can't be! I guess he didn't get enough the first time. You can't stop me from restoring the Master Emerald.
In case you were wondering why Chaos 6 had a completely unique musical theme during the Sonic campaigns, because he's Knuckles' final boss. Eggman is not around to drop the ice mines this time around, but they're still just around floating about, and you just need to actually punch them to actually throw them into him. You can only access 1/2 of the field at a time because now 2 of the panels are broken during this campaign because this happened after Sonic's version of the fight. But worth noting all the same, all the attacks are the same. But you can also do double damage in this fight, meaning you can finish it off in 2 strikes instead of 4 if you use the maximum heat knuckle attack right in front of him. Like so. The continued animation means we do 2 hits. I think it's because you technically hit him before his invincibility frames end, or his invincibility frames end and you hit him again before his animation finishes and he gets his shield back, so to speak. Very easy to do, so you can finish that fight off real quick before he even gets to do the weird pineapple attack in most cases even. And with that, Knuckles' campaign is wrapped. Let's watch the ending.
Yeah, you're finished. What's left now is to return the Master Emerald safely to my island. This should do it. Perfect. All is well now. The Master Emerald and the island have been restored. I'll probably be on this floating island forever. Guarding the Master Emerald again. I may not know the whole story behind this, but perhaps it's better that way. I'm at peace once more.
Before I get into my thoughts on the campaign, let's talk about Knuckles' character theme. His theme in this game, heard in cutscenes and in these credits, is unknown from ME, which is also the name of his theme song in SA2. Unlike Sonic and Tails, where I heavily prefer one version over the other, I like both of these versions of the song pretty equally, just for radically different reasons in each one. The song was written and arranged by Kenichi Tokoi, who does a lot of jazz-adjacent music for the franchise, while Takahiro Fukada translated the lyrics. The song has two performers on the vocals though. Marlon Saunders, who's formerly of acid jazz group Jazz Hole and was found also in other Sega titles like Burning Rangers and Nights into Dreams on vocals. While the other performer is Lucan Outdosman, known by the alias Dreadfox, who is the voice actor for Parappa the Rapper. I think the way to parse my thoughts is that I don't think this campaign's for everyone, and it's only barely for me. The free-roaming emerald hunting missions, I think, are an interesting concept that they're very close to executing on well, and they fix a couple of issues for it in SA2, but for every issue they fix, they introduce a wholly new one that ultimately makes it feel kind of weird at the same time. I think there's a game and a campaign with these mechanics that it could exist that feels really good at every angle, but between the length and the slightly unfocused nature of some of the levels, it definitely can fall a little short, I think. If there is one thing I really like about this campaign, though, it's its tone. It is very laid back and relaxed compared to most of the other campaigns in a way that I find very fun to revisit. Because Knuckles is very nonplussed by a lot of stuff, but he still wants to do this because it's his duty. And there's a part of that I really enjoy because Knuckles as a character, around this point in the franchise is where I think he really started to get really interesting, because he was already several years old by this point. I think this is 4 years after the release of Sonic 3. But a lot of what they did with him outside of the comics was just him showing up to be the third member of the trio. Whereas this is where they really started to introduce a lot more about his backstory and his personality in a way that I really enjoy. The unfortunate thing is they did kind of drop that from a lot of aspects of him during the mid-2000s, even into the early 2010s in a lot of regards. It took until relatively recently for him to start being an actual character again. But that is just kind of consistent with what happened with the franchise at large anyway, so It's glad to see him back in full force again, though, as of those Frontiers animated shorts in Frontiers itself. I like what they did with him largely in the second movie, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with him moving forward. With that said, we're now well over the hump when it comes to this LP, both in terms of the pure part count, but also the campaign number. While Knuckles is the third of 6 main campaigns we've completed, Amy, Big, and Gamma's campaigns combined are shorter than Sonic's campaign was in this LP. So they're gonna fly by pretty quickly. In that regard, actually, there's a lot of people I know who just kind of play the first 3 campaigns of this whenever they revisit it and then just drop it there, and I can't entirely blame them, as I do think the first 3 campaigns are much stronger than the latter 3 on a macro scale. Gamma's maybe less so than Big and Amy's, admittedly, because I do like Gamma's campaign a lot. But most of the meat of the game in terms of what's fun can be found in the first 3 campaigns. That's even with the shortcomings, say, Tails and Knuckles campaigns have. I guess one final closing thought for this particular campaign is, since I think Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 both fall short with this particular gameplay style in radically different ways, I would love to see them try this again in either the next main entry, or if it is just a remake of this, with that, to see in what ways they could make it more interesting and more engaging on the whole. As I think there's a lot of potential with this, they need to focus on different aspects than what they did in Sonic Adventure 1 and 2 combined, if that makes sense. And even then, with how Knuckles feels in the Sonic Frontiers expansion, I think they could do some adjustments to that and make for a very interesting campaign alone. But with that, I'm going to need to end this off here. Thank you guys for watching, have a great night, take care, and in part 14, we're going to go start off the next campaign. See you guys then.